So if you want to make your adventure count, make your story count, live your adventure, not someone else's. Because one of the big things that will prevent you from stepping into what God's made you for, from making your adventure count, is if you try and take on someone else's dreams. Try and live their adventure. You know, it's easy to see the giftings or the passions, the skills and abilities of other people, to see them stepping into their calling and to play the comparison game, right? To feel like you should feel the same thing or you should want the same thing. But the comparison game is a killer. You know, for me, some of my Christian friends, when I was training as an engineer, they had this huge heart to apply their engineering skills in a way that would help people across the world in the lowest income areas. And for a long time, I kind of was going on this journey too. And I had to wrestle with this because I could see their passion and see them taking steps towards this. And I think that I could see the huge impact and the huge need for that. But I didn't share that same desire to be involved in a role where it was primarily technical. And I struggled with that because I wanted that. I wanted to be that. And when they talked about having this yearning to go overseas in that capacity, I found my experience was a little bit different. And it triggered these thoughts in me. I thought, man, am I a bad Christian? You know, am I more selfish than them? And I started to wonder, you know, what's wrong with me? Have you ever had an experience like that? You know, you see the things that people are really passionate about and you realize things are different for you. The thing is, I wasn't called to live their adventure. They were called to do that. And that's awesome. But I've been called to do different things. And the thing that I love about this is that they've gone on to use their engineering skills in exactly those ways to raise the living conditions for people who need it the most. And it makes me think of this little litmus test, a little way that you can check the condition of your own heart for this. Is this way. Are you happy to see other people thrive in their calling? Like, do you rejoice over the effectiveness of others? Because if you don't, or if there's kind of that little part of you that thinks, man, like, I kind of hate that they've found their thing that they're called to do, or like, man, I wish that I had that, then I think there's a heart check in order, right? I think this is part of putting off your old self and being made new in the attitude of our minds, right? Because when we see things from God's perspective, and the perspective of His kingdom, we're happier to play our part, no matter whether it's visible or not. So for me, living my adventure meant finishing my engineering degree. I went and worked full-time in that for a while. And my engineering boss, he actually was planting a church. And I didn't really know anything about this, but I started talking to him about it. And completely independently of that, I felt like I wanted to go and do some Bible study. So I went to Laidlaw, studied theology there, and all the while still working as an engineer and staying connected in that world. At the end of that time of study, this boss of mine called me into the office, and I thought it was going to be talking about some engineering projects. But then his wife was there too, and I thought, this is different. And they invited me into this church plant, and I had to go and weigh it up and take some time in prayer. I decided, I prayed about it, and I knew that this was what God was calling me into. And for me, that's what living my adventure looked like. When I let go of the things that I wasn't called to be, I could step into the things that I was called to.